Well, I just had a nighttime meditation session, and then I had a little dance party for myself and with myself for like 10 minutes, listening to some Bon Jovi, classic 80s music, and then some Michael Jackson as well. It's amazing how the kind of time era that you're listening to music from, you almost like channel energy from that era. You know, you channel energy of the people as well that are the artists there. And of course, you got to be mindful of who you're listening to. But for the most part, you know, if you're just in a calm state of mind and you're able to just let yourself chill, and you will understand that not everything is going to be super impactful. Like if you, the only time a thing has an impact on you is if you let it have an impact on you, really, at the end of the day. Of course, there's going to be things that are outside of our control that we can't control, but you know, for the most part, it's amazing how just being able to let your mind chill, and especially during this full moon energy, it's a full moon tonight, I believe. At least it looked like a full moon outside when I just checked to get some things done outside before I came back in and did my meditation and dance party. But definitely looks like a full moon out there. And with this kind of energy that's coming in very, very rapidly, this is the time to really harness the power of the energy that you've been building for how long that you've been building this energy. And, you know, I have some good news to share with everybody tonight. I want to be able to give some positive messages, and I hope that it's going to be as relatable as possible for many people, because even though, yes, we live in crazy times, we live in dark times for sure. Like, we do live in crazy times. I genuinely believe that. I don't think we're in the end of times just yet. I think it would be very much more clear. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like I have a hard time to believe that we're in the end of times when I can just turn on my speaker and listen to some Michael Jackson or Bon Jovi and have a dance party. Like, it's just hard to believe like we're in the end of times and we're in the when I can just like I just don't, I don't know. Maybe it's just the power of a godlike mindset, because that's really what I aim to teach people at the end of the day, is just have that godlike mindset. But at the same time, I don't know. If we were in the end of times, I would think that, I don't know, maybe it would be a little bit worse than it really is, because things are bad, of course, but there's so many good things that can come of this. I mean, Bitcoin is at its all-time high right now, right? AI is crazier than ever. Sometimes I don't really like AI because it makes everything just seem more fake overall. Like, when I see things on the news and whatnot, I'm thinking like, is this even real? You know, is this even, how real is this? Because I just don't buy it. I don't buy anything in the news media, etc. Anything national or worldwide news, I just don't buy anymore. It's not that I'm gonna question it until I never have an answer ever that suffice, but it's that I just don't buy it. Whatever's the first narrative that comes out, I just don't believe it anymore. Because everybody wants to be like the first to break a story. Everybody wants to be the first to really take advantage of this new situation. Oh, something new that is terrible is happening today. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, man, I've got some chili that I had, some leftover chili that I made from last night. I was able to, get some stuff done outside, had a meditation session, had a dance party. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm making a video for you guys. I don't think that my life could get any better in the moment that it is right now. Like, this is just the best that it can be, given the state of everything, right? And of course, my life isn't perfect. Nobody's life is like perfect, but for the most part, man, it's very chill. And at least right now it is, because it can be very stressful at times. And it's only when I allow myself to get into the rabbit holes or the narratives of the society that we live in that I start to lose that frame of myself. And as long as I remain grounded in Christ, the more I read the Bible, the more I just incorporate what I've learned from my own life. Like I had something I wanted to read for you guys from my book, The Book of Oldishness. And this is toward the end, but it's talking about the beauty of wisdom. So the beauty of wisdom is in how we wrestle with what the God has assigned us to accomplish. He who has his health, a task assigned unto him by the God, and beauty's wisdom, has a richness of the soul that many can only aspire to incorporate into their modes of being. It is a rare, true individual who is predominantly capable of having anything in such a state of being. This is what it means to be a master of being. And you know, I wrote that and I thought about how being a master of being is about choosing to be so. God is a designer, and you can't really have the order and the sophistication and the reason of existence without God. I don't see how that's possible, because you can't have the design without the designer, right? This is one of Thomas Aquinas's most famous philosophical arguments for God's existence. And although we can be a designer, we can be a creator, we are not the creator. We are not the designer. And this is where I'm almost too new agey for Christians, and I'm too Christian for new ages or new agers. And it seems as though this narrow path that we're walking is just so profound, and it's so amazing, and it's so indicative of just how truly much of a blessing it is to be able to walk this path, to be able to be on this journey, to be able to live what is true and let die what is false, to live in spirit and truth. The profundity of it is just always so, wow, like it's so massive, and it's such an amazing, brilliant, and at times awe-inspiring and terrifying simultaneously. Because as the Bible says, the beginning of the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And I think that's so freaking true. It's scary in of itself, because it's not really the fear of God. Because the ego wants to reign in hell. The ego would rather reign in hell than serve in heaven. And it's not to say that the ego is bad. Like, having no ego, some people, some new agers, I genuinely think it's a psyop. It's a psyop to think, oh, you have to have no ego. What? No, you need an ego so that you know when someone's trying to put you in hellishness. That's really the purpose for an ego. That is the true will of God. Has anybody read Modern Man in Search of a Soul by Carl Jung? Very fascinating book. Very fascinating. And towards the end, he talks about how it's the true will of God that the ego exists. And I don't see how he's wrong about that. I don't see how it's wrong at all, because it's just the way that it is. The righteous people that are actually righteous, they are going to just inherently and naturally understand certain things that other people don't. And they might not even know themselves just how much they understand. Do you know how many calls I've had with people around the world over the past couple years that I've really been doing one-on-one sessions? And do you know how often these people, they talk about life or situations or things that are happening, and I find myself being urged to ask them, do you know how much you actually know? You know more than you think you do. You really do. And this kind of self-sabotage, because it's not always on, and not everybody's doing this, of course, but sometimes I'll see people that are self-sabotaging, And it's because I genuinely believe that if you have a godlike mindset, if you're a man, for example, and you have godlike savageness flowing through your veins, and you are a person then that is winning all the time, or you're usually sabotaging. There's really no in between apart from that when you are a godlike savage. Whereas with the women, it's the same type of thing. But they are aware and they don't care, or they're aware and they do anything and everything to make sure that they don't go off the path. Because at that point, a woman who is fearful of the Lord, that is really something to behold. When a woman truly fears God, that is really something to behold, because you start to see just how impactful God can be in a woman's life, and just how much a woman needs God. Like, you know that men need God, but you don't realize how much a woman needs God until you see that her fear of God grounds her in such a way that no man can do. Like, no man can have that kind of impact on a woman. It is only God that can make that kind of fear, because it's not fear of him necessarily. It's more of a fear of what you'll do without God. That's the way that I see it anyway. And so I have another little bit here. Speaking of good news, the gospel is the good news. I actually looked up, why is the gospel considered good news? Why is it that when people say, oh, I'm here to share the good news, why is that exactly? Well, apparently in ancient Greek, there's the gospel, the term for gospel in Greek means good news or something like that. So the phrase exactly of it escapes me, but it reminds me of the ancient Greeks, because we're doing the Whispers of a Philosophy King class starting this Saturday in the Regal Change Academy. And I'm super stoked for it, because we're going to be reading Plato's Apology, and we're going to have little things to go along with it. It's not a very long class. It'll only be two Saturdays worth, 2 parts. But I'm really stoked for it, because it'll give you a hint of what it's like to have courage in the face of death and life, really. And so, without further ado, this is going to be from Matthew chapter 25, verse 31 through 46. So we're going to be here for a second, but this is really very important. This is the parable of the sheep and the goats. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them from one another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was a hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. And I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, or gave thee drink? When we saw thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, or clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of my brethren, ye have also done it unto me. Then he shall say unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was a hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye not clothed me. Sick, and in prison, and ye visited me not. Then shall they also answer unto him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee a hungered, or at thirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did not to the least of these, ye did not do it to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous unto life eternal. Whew. Now that's a rough parable to really take in. But essentially the point is that if you know God, then you're going to be knowing the least of our brethren. You're going to be able to see the people that needed the help, and you're going to help them. This is what's so potent about the Bible, is that the more that you help others succeed in whatever their endeavor is, the more that you learn how to help others, that's just the secret key ingredient to life in all aspects. But if you are greedy and you didn't know the least of the brethren, so to speak, and again, this is a parable, right? So there's symbols within the symbols, really. If you don't know the least of the brethren, and it's not to say that you should go to the poor or whatever and just, give them anything, but it's a matter of who are you really loyal to at the end of the day? Because for me, loyalty comes from knowing God's laws and being obedient to them. It's not about and knowing what's most important in the law. And this is why Jesus gave us new commandments, right? He even says at one point, a new commandment that I give you is that you love one another as I have loved you. Whew. That's hard. It's really hard. Because you have to have almost limitless forgiveness and compassion and mercy without letting yourself be taken advantage of, or without losing your patience. It's amazing because patience, I was thinking about this tonight as well, patience is a virtue and one of the most predominant virtues and compelling virtues that you can possess and have and attain as a person. I guess you don't really possess the virtue. Can you possess the virtue? I don't think so. But anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, patience. So with patience, you can close doors that were never meant for you anyway. And you can open doors that were meant for you. And I had a very interesting communication space on X today, which was probably the most productive conversation I've had on X probably ever. Thank God for that. And this person was a new ager, very much into worshiping themselves, and they thought that they're the creator of they're the creator of the world. And it's like, well, no, I don't think so. I think it's pretty clear that there's a creator. I didn't create this. Like, my consciousness is the vessel, and my body's the vessel, but I didn't create this. I didn't create it. And they almost want to have these new agers, they want to give you this false empowerment. Like, no, you are the creator, because just because you don't remember doesn't mean that you didn't create it. It's like, well, no, that's not exactly the point, because we have We have all of these other options available to us. We have all these other things that we can see, like in the Bible, for example. This is not just a book. This is it's a portal, it's a living document, it's a weapon. You can do anything with it, really, depending on how you see it. And there's a reason why it's so profound. There's a reason why you hear these words that are written in the book, and it gets at your soul in some way that just, it doesn't have that same effect on entertainment. Like, I was at the gym this morning, right? And there were these new treadmills in this one space. And on the screen, it was listen to your entertainment or watch your entertainment here. And it had TikTok, YouTube, and all these other whatever apps and that I've never heard of. And I thought to myself, while you're running on the treadmill, I don't get it. I don't listen to music. I don't listen to anything when I'm in the gym. I understand if you want to listen to maybe content like this in the gym and whatnot, because it's actually informative and it's actually educational. It's actually giving you form of life, because I'm pouring my spirit out into this video and all my videos, really, but as much as I can in the spirit of the time. And I pour out my spirit. Everybody else just seems to want to be entertained except for us, guys. I don't know what it is. I mean, this is it. This is where we're at. Everybody's just living for entertainment. It reminds me of the Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that not why you are here? Because that's how people act, man. They love to see the craziness. And this is the parable of the sheep and the goats. It's a very positive message in the long run, because it's saying that if you understand, and this isn't the only way to look at it, by the way. This is just one perspective here. If you, think about the sheep and the goats too, and think about how goats, oh my gosh, I just thought about this. Think about how Satanism and goats go hand in hand, right? Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, because he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. And then the king shall say to them on his right hand. So the sheep are on the right hand, the goats are on the left. And the sheep are going to be the ones that inherit the kingdom. And it's not sheep as in you're the sheeple, because there are a lot of sheeple out there. You're not an NPC, though, when you follow Christ. The Lord is the shepherd. And it's not that we're sheep as in we're just blindly following. It said, no, we're moving by faith, not by sight. We're walking by faith, not by sight. And this is just so powerful, man. It's so powerful to view this kind of lens, view the world through this lens. Because when you understand that you're here to serve heaven, and for the kingdom of God, you're not here to reign in hell. Things start to make a lot of sense. And you know what's crazy is just how simple it is. Life does not need to be that complex. In fact, this person on X, for example, when I told him, I assume it was a him, it was a kind of an anonymous account, but they seemed reasonable, even though they were very much worshiping themselves. Clearly, I could see that there were hints of truth coming out, which is what's so dangerous about the New Age movement in general, is that there's so much of these little truths that it'll give you clues, but it's like these clues that just lead to other clues and other clues. There's no real finding. There's no real, okay, that's it. Because even then, when if I were to ask, well, why do you think you're the creator? Oh, because, well, that's just the way existence is. No, no, that's not just the way that existence is, and that's not really an answer. But if they were to ask me, well, why do you believe in a creator? Well, it's because the whole universe is comprised of reason, order, and logic. And that had to be designed. Have you ever seen the human body before? Like, have you ever been to those Leonardo da Vinci? What were they called? Oh, what were they called? It was some like Da Vinci type of museum where people donated their bodies and you got to see like the flesh. They had these they weren't mannequins because they were real bodies, but it was like you could see the muscles in people. It was just some Da Vinci museum where you got to see the body and all that. You can't look at that and say, oh yeah, that was just a happy accident, or yeah, I'm the creator of that. Okay, really? So how do you create that, bro? There's no way. Only God himself could have done that. Only God himself. You can't look at this and think about the intrinsic beauty of it too. Because when you look at the muscle fibers and you look at the people, oh, I remember there was another one like throwing a spear. There was this human body and it was like throwing a spear. And you could see the muscles, and you could see the ligaments, and you could see the organs. And it was just the way that it was moving as well, as it just so fascinating. This beautiful museum. I was very fortunate to go. Unfortunately, though, I can't remember the name of the damn the damn museum. But it was a beautiful, beautiful just display of the human body and what it's capable of. But really the main message that I wanted to get across is that life doesn't have to be so negative all the time. Even in the negative times, if you can have the mindset of positivity, you're unbreakable. You're unbreakable, and you'll have that unbreakable godlike mentality and mindset. And that's really what this is all about. It's about developing ourselves into the kinds of people that we can handle anything. And even if we screw it all up, because God knows that we can get got. We're not invincible, but we can be protected. God does protect us, but sometimes he'll put us in certain situations where we need to learn from these experiences, even though maybe it's an expensive lesson, whether it's financially or in a relationship or whatnot. You kind of have some skin in the game, right? I know I was talking to somebody earlier tonight in a one-on-one session about this as well, where when you have skin in the game in a relationship, it can be kind of hard to like step back for a second and to analyze the situation. But if you can hold fast and stay true to wisdom, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It might be a little rough for a minute, but you're going to come out on the other side so much stronger, so much better. And praise God for that. So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you all. Peace. Until next time.